Okay, so I was going to make a video talking about, why Ben Affleck left and the Film God video where he's talking about some source he has. But that all seems pretty fucking redundant when we already have a John Aaron Garza article that came out in 2018 that talks about the same thing pretty much. So I'm really not going to talk about Ben Affleck leaving the Batman role because it's redundant and we already know why he left. Instead, I want to talk about this ridiculous conspiracy theory that Geoff Johns leaked information to bloggers in order to sabotage Justice League and undercut Zack Snyder and Ben Affleck. This theory is really dumb. Really, really stupid. And I think anybody with a rational brain can see that it makes absolutely no sense. And it's also like an extraordinary claim that you need extraordinary evidence for. Just give me one blogger admitting this, and maybe I'll start believing you. But the fact that no one has come forward saying that Geoff Johns leaked this stuff to them should tell you that it's not true. Especially when the bloggers in question are just like the bloggers we hate, right? Like the Collider bloggers, right? Just the bloggers we don't like. Those are the ones that Geoff Johns leaked all this stuff to, right? Now, this theory is really stupid, guys. It's really, really stupid because Justice League never really had a chance because after Batman vs. Superman came out, Warner Brothers got cold feet and they decided to change the direction of the DCU based off the overwhelming negative reaction to BVS. Because if you notice, the plans really don't change for the DC Universe till after BVS comes out. They didn't have a problem with Man of Steel. Man of Steel was just good enough to get to BVS. It's after BVS and the huge public perception problem of the movie, that's when they changed direction. Now, they couldn't just up and change Justice League until Zack Snyder shot it because they were already shooting Justice League while Batman vs. Superman was in theaters. So they had to wait till principal photography was over, and then they were going to reshape the movie with reshoots to make it more appealing to the audience that hated BVS. That's the reality. Okay? They were going to do that no matter what. And they turned to Geoff Johns to start fixing things. And if he didn't actually do it, then they would have got somebody else to make the changes. This isn't that complicated, guys. And to think that Johns was leaking stuff to not like just one blogger, but hundreds of bloggers, because every blogger was against BVS. Every media outlet, bloggers, they all were against the movie. And to think that Geoff Johns was leaking stuff to hundreds of people is just retarded, guys. And you say he's sabotaging, Zack Snyder, Ben Affleck. Well, he would also be sabotaging himself because all these leaks were all negative, which made it less likely that people were going to actually like Justice League. The film, Geoff Johns was trying to reshape into a new film. Yeah, why would he want any negative buzz coming out of Justice League? He would keep it airtight. Nobody at Warner Brothers, including Geoff Johns, wanted anybody to know what was happening on the Justice League reshoots. But still, somebody was leaking it out to, the media and press and stuff like that all these changes were happening on Justice League. We knew these stories before Justice League came out. We knew that Geoff Johns was fucking with Ben Affleck's Batman script, mainly because of Warner Brothers wanting to completely change the direction of the DCU. And it's why Ben Affleck left. He didn't want to keep dealing with the studio trying to change everything about his movie. So he dipped out. What's the big fucking mystery here, And it's real frustrating because it's clear everybody just wants a scapegoat. They just want somebody to blame for what happened because they felt so, slighted by Justice League when it came out. But it's just like, Jesus Christ, grow up. It's not just one person that fucked up the whole universe. If you're going to blame anybody, you blame the general audience and everybody that was dogpiling on Batman vs. Superman when it came out. Those are the people you blame. Everybody. Because if Batman vs. Superman was just liked, if it was just liked, then we would have had Zack Snyder's Justice League in theaters. And to think, Geoff Johns is a snake for doing his job is just so fucking childish. People are starting to call Matt Reeves a snake because he's doing his fucking job and directing a movie that he was brought on to direct. Warner Brothers sought Matt Reeves out to direct the Batman. Matt Reeves didn't try to get the job. Warner Brothers went to him. And people are calling Matt Reeves a snake. for undercutting Ben Affleck and taking the movie away from him. It's just fucking ridiculous. And if you put any scrutiny against these arguments, they just fall apart, right? And yes, Toby Emmerich might be the one to really question here, as he's the one that was making a lot of decisions about this stuff, right? Because he's one of the most famous fucking executive producers in Hollywood, and he's made countless films, and he was going off numbers and people's reaction to BVS. That's why all these changes happened. Toby Emmerich was doing his job. You know, a lot of people want to call these people snakes for doing what they thought was the right thing to do. They were just going off the feedback they were getting. That's it. But anyway, I'm just real fucking fed up with seeing all this bullshit on Twitter, with people constantly saying, oh, this guy's a snake, this guy's a snake, oh, it was Geoff Johns that ruined everything, no, it was Toby Emmerich that ruined everything, no, it was Diane Nelson, no, it's not Diane Nelson, she likes Zach. It's just fucking a bunch of bullshit, guys. Warner Brothers, as a collective group, all those executives made the decision to change Justice League. And they turned to Geoff Johns to help them do it. If Geoff Johns didn't accept that role, then they would have got somebody else. It's really that simple, guys. And think about this. If Geoff Johns doesn't make all these decisions, right? If he doesn't try to reshape Justice League the way that the studio wants him to, then he gets fired, okay? So how is he a snake? And I've noticed that only really, really dumb people use that term. People that don't understand nuance, people that don't understand the way reality works, those are the only people that use terms like snake and stuff like that. I've noticed on Twitter. If you want to keep believing Geoff Johns is responsible for everything wrong with the DCU, you can go on believing that. But just remember, anything good that you've seen out of these DC movies, Geoff Johns was also involved on some level. So you can't really have it both ways. This dude is involved on a lot of films. He wrote the story and the script for the new Wonder Woman movie. Okay? Let that sink in for a second. He wrote the story for Aquaman. Aquaman made $1 billion. Let that sink in for a second. Yeah, the dude makes some fucking huge mistakes, but he has a few hits under his belt. You gotta take the good and the bad with Johns, right? The good is that Johns knows more about the DC characters than anybody at Warner Brothers and anybody in this comment section or anybody watching these videos. He knows more about DC than anybody. The bad is that he thinks his ideas are better than everybody's. That's the bad. But to just call him a snake is just retarded because he was working with Zack Snyder on Man of Steel and BVS. Why wasn't he a snake then? You know, how come he was totally fine with Man of Steel and BVS? How come he didn't try to take over those movies? How come he only tries to take over, Justice League and the Batman movie after the critical and public reaction to BVS? It's pretty evident, isn't it? Everybody on that Justice League set was put in a shitty position because of executives at Warner Brothers that saw the feedback to BVS and demanded the movie be changed. And demanded the direction of the universe be changed. But anyway, that's it for now. I'm not telling you what to believe, but I'm telling you that extraordinary claims need extraordinary evidence, or any evidence. There is no evidence that Geoff Johns even talks to these bloggers that they're saying he leaks shit to. Like, what the I remember Geoff Johns had an interview with Collider about 6 years ago, after Man of Steel came out, right? Didn't he have one interview with Collider? Maybe another interview with IGN during Green Lantern's run? That's just the promoting of the movies. That's the only time he's talked to these media outlets, as far as we know. Anybody trying to claim anything more than that really needs to show actual evidence, proof, emails. They can get all the Democrats' emails, but you can't get, Geoff Johns' emails? Is he a fucking, spy genius that fucking can delete everything and cover all his tracks and hide all his, money and offshore bank accounts and stuff? It just doesn't make any sense, guys. Geoff Johns was doing what he was told. He's doing what he thought was right, which is what everybody was doing on Justice League. But anyway, that's it for now. I'm kind of done ranting about this. You'll never change people's minds about Geoff Johns because everybody's going to think he's a fucking snake. And you watch these people. that are claiming Geoff Johns is a snake, these same people are going to start claiming that Matt Reeves is a snake. And it's just going to keep going and going. They'll find somebody new. It'll be a new person every goddamn week. It's just going to keep going. They'll start calling Robert Pattinson a snake because he took the Batman role from Ben Affleck. And that's it for now. Comment below. Leave a like because you know I'm right. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.